Hey, welcome to Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Joe Coleman, the retired Joe Coleman. And Joe, first of all, what a great run. I mean, it's probably hadn't ended, but for right now, what a great run.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thanks. It was a lot of fun, and I think it is ended, but yeah, it's been a great time. I've had a great time.
Well, let's talk about some, a great district last year, great, unbelievable district, and a great state championship.
Yeah, it was. There were some very talented basketball teams in our district. Highland, Hope, Del Norte, even Bernalillo gave us a lot of problems. But great coaches. I think we had a district full of really good coaches, and I think that added to the excitement of every night because every game was going to be tight, but it was fun.
Well, let's have Josh throw up some highlights of a little memory lane from March. Okay. So Joe, we're in the pit, and guess what? There's no fans. It's Adam Dill and I up in the air.
It was definitely very surreal, but it was. I tell you, when the game started, you couldn't tell if there was fans or not. Both teams were focused. All the kids were playing hard. You couldn't tell there was no one there, and the energy was the same, and it was really a neat atmosphere, and it was nice coaching. It was quiet. You could hear everything, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, that was my point. I thought, and you may agree or disagree on this statement, but I really, for the whole state tournament, I thought the referees were very focused, and they're very not weighed by the fans. I mean, because it's emotional when you get in, you hear things happen, and I really thought that this might have been the best reffing of all the state tournaments.
I'd have to agree with you. I think sometimes, like everybody, refs are human beings, and the emotions get going when it's loud and crazy, and you're, playing somewhere with all that energy. You tend to maybe blow a whistle too soon or call something because everybody else thought it was. I thought they did a great job, and these are obviously the top officials. They get a chance to go work the state tournament, but hey, they have a tough job every night, and I know it looks like I'm on them, but I sure appreciate everything they've done.
Well, look at does this bring back some memories? I mean,
it does.
I mean, look at the athleticism of both teams. I mean, going up and down. But I tell you, this thing here was a pretty intense game for you.
It was. Both great athletes. Highland was just absolutely loaded. Their first five were as good as anyone in the state, regardless of classification. The big kid's going to be phenomenal for the next couple years. They've got some players, and I felt bad for some of their seniors. Obviously, they had worked hard and been through a lot, and got themselves in a position to win a state title. And fortunately for us, we came out on top. But those kids sure never quit and gave themselves a chance to win, and I was happy for them.
Well, what great job Woody's done with his program. I mean, you look at this. They fought back. They did not quit against you, and they just look at that. That was a big basket at that time.
Yeah, it was. And I thought right here this kid was going to make this shot. He threw it up there, and it was headed in the right direction. But our kids really hung in there, and over time did a great job. And we got the floor spread a little bit, and Marcus took over, and he's such a great kid too.
Well, I tell you, congratulations.
Thank
back
you.
to back. It's 5A, 4A,
Right.
but your 4A district with a lot of 5A teams,
Yeah,
caliber
no.
athletes in that district.
Yeah, we played some really good teams all year, and our basketball district 4A I thought was as good as most. Obviously, there's some 5A teams that are pretty, got a bit more talent or depth on the team. But I loved our kids, and I was so happy for them to win back to back. It was awesome.
Well, and probably what's more impressive about that is you played your district teams in the district. You played them regular season in the district, and then you had to go into the state tournament and play them in the state tournament, and that's not fun for either one.
It doesn't. When you have 5 teams out of 5 or whatever it was that make the state tournament, you're going to end up playing your district again. You know, if all 5 teams make it, and it's tough because you want to play the teams in the state. It's a state tournament. You want to play some other people, but I get it. We just happen to have a district that was loaded for 2 years in a row, and when you got hope in your district, they're going to be there every year. And Highland stepped up, and Del Norte's going to be, you know, a force to reckon with the next couple years. So it's tough. I'm glad we were able to play some other teams. Silver City last year, Los Lunas. You know, we got a chance to play them last year, and that was good. But it was definitely a battle every night.
You know, what was also neat, you know, your dad got to see it, your son got to watch the game. I mean, they limited, I think, 15 to 20 people or whatever it was.
It was 20. Yeah, we got a call that night after the first game, I think it was on Wednesday night or whatever it might have been. We got a call from Sally saying, hey, Joe, you can bring 20 tomorrow, that's it. And I said, okay, I get 20 people total. And she goes, yep. And so I showed her with my dad, and Judge Chavez showed up, and our principal, Anthony Grego. I had some extra spots, and she goes, what are they doing? I go, well, my team dad, my principal, my team, you know, AD, Judge Chavez, whatever the case may be. But she allowed them to be there and sit on the bench, and they were our guys. And Judge always complains that it's the worst seat in the house because you can't see when you're sitting on the bench because everybody stands up and you can't see the other end. But he was happy to be there.
Well, he had a few seats he could have got.
Yeah, no, and they wouldn't let him. They told him they had to sit on the bench.
They had to sit on
they
the bench.
had to sit on the bench. So, but one of the best things was if I'm going to walk out, my dad was there, sitting there watching the games, and that was super special for me. And
that's always special for me too. I mean, I mean, over the years, you know, you get these relationships, and you know, you and I have become close, but your dad and I have become close.
Yeah,
and it's kind of, you know, refreshing to make sure he's always in the gym.
Well, you especially, but most people in the basketball community have know my dad and have treated him real well. He's had some health issues in the past 4 or 5 years by having a stroke and losing his ability to speak. But the people in the Albuquerque basketball community, not just the North Valley, have really, you know, been super kind to him and my family, and I thank them all for that because he loves being there, and it means a whole lot to me.
Well, let's go to the Dream Style top 10 plays of the week and come back and talk more about the future of Joe Coleman.
All right.
I'll just get a little closer. Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass. He'll just shoot it. He's going to go all the way. He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits. Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Heavyweight tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles. Uses some athleticism, and then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds, and look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question.
On got another steal one at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez. From the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10! Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We got Joe Coleman, retired Joe Coleman. And Joe, I mean, first of all, again, congratulations, back-to-back state championships, and kind of sorry to see you retired, you know, because it's been fun for, you know, like I said, you build these relationships, you know, doing the games, and I want to thank you and your staff for what you've done for Proview Networks. It was the hospitality. We come up and get Cokes, we get drinks and people like that. So I just want to make sure that, you know, from Proview Networks, you know, how classy Valley is and the respect they have for Proview.
Well, I appreciate that, and you guys have done so much for high school sports in the city over the past few years. It's phenomenal. But and again, that's not me. That's the North Valley community. That's Pat Goodyear, you know, a lifelong Valley guy, and Judge Chavez, and all the people that were there before me. That, you know, Jim Master, and they love being there. And when you guys show up, they love having you. But that's just why I always tell people I was the luckiest coach. I was fortunate to coach in the best community here in the city, in my opinion. And I know there are some good ones, but the Valley's always been special, and they do a great job.
Well, you've been, you know, in a good way, been blessed with a lot of good people, and speak on that a bit. You know, well, first of all, why coaching, and, you know, how did that, you know, because you had, you know, you're a great athlete yourself.
Well, I appreciate that. I wasn't great enough, but I was okay.
I mean, you went to
yeah,
UNM.
I did. I get it, yeah. And I do appreciate that. You know, I wanted to go to law school and be a judge, and, you know, that whole thing. That was the
you
plan.
You been pretty good as a judge.
Yeah,
I mean, you had that look, and you got that intimidation. I think, you know, I didn't know that.
That was the goal. Yeah, I've watched a week's worth of Supreme Court stuff here, watching Amy Coleman Barrett get on. But I love it. But aside from that, got done playing baseball. UNM was ready to kind of start pursuing that, and Simon Chavez, an old football coach of mine, said, "Hey, come coach our freshman football team if you got time." And I said, "Well, I do in the afternoons." And walked out on the field, and, you know, you got kids looking at you going, "Hey," you know, just thinking you got all the answers. And it was a little nerve-wracking, but it was fun. And Ron McMath was the first coach that I coached with. Ron was the head freshman coach, and I was his assistant under Simon Chavez over at Valley doing C-team football. And I had an absolute blast. And then the next thing I did was girls basketball after that, because the girls coach asked me to help out with girls C-team. Went 22-0. It was awesome. And then I did baseball with Roger Cordova, who's one of my, you know, hugest mentors that I look up to. And it just started rolling. I started coaching, and then I got fortunate. I got a job over at Albuquerque Academy with Mike Brown, and that kind of set me along this path of being a coach and watching how he was doing things. And he's the one guy that kind of molded me into a position of going, you know, this is something I want to do. And I was fortunate enough to get on at Valley, and I pulled one of my best friends, Ben Santisteban, who I had looked up to in high school. And I haven't done a lot of right things, X and O-wise, coaching basketball, but the thing that I've been very fortunate is I've always had great people around me. Ben Santisteban and Rafe Martinez, Leighton Kaufman, Danny Brown, you know, all these guys went on, Alvin, you know, so many people. And easy upon us being the #1 guy. You know, he's been with me 17 years, and one of the reasons I stepped aside was it's Easy's time, and he's been waiting patiently for an opportunity, and I felt like he shouldn't have to wait any longer. But that's one of those things.
But you go back, you had to wait. Yeah, I mean, and I think that you know, being an easy, I mean, I'm sure you've had those talks. Look, you know, there's going to be a time, or you know, whenever it was kind of a surprise to everybody, because I thought, you know, but it just shows who you are. Is that, you know, you've been there, and you're just saying, look, I want to get my chance. I mean, you turned down probably some jobs, you know, or you know, or looked at some things thinking, but it just seemed to all work out for you.
It did. You know, I was very, very blessed and fortunate. My things have gone really well in my coaching career, and yeah, I don't know if it was the right or wrong time to go. Stepped away, but
you can always come back. See,
yeah,
I mean, that's the nice thing about, you know, if you get that urge or whatever. So
sure, but I just didn't want Easy. I mean, there's a lot of jobs going to open up, and I didn't want Easy leaving the Valley. He's been too special to us, and this was a way to make sure he's going to be there. And I'm hoping they get to play a basketball season this year so he can coach some games, and it'd be a great way to kind of get started with just a kind of a short schedule and then be ready to go. But aside from that, I've been very, very blessed and very happy and fortunate that I've met a lot of great people. The coaches in this city are phenomenal. They've been great friends, have become great friends to me.
Well, and back to Easy, you know, as you know, West Mesa, you know, started with West Mesa and under Diego, and I was coaching at La Cueva, and that's when they were, you know, they I think they won the district, you know, and unbelievable years with him at the guard spot.
Yeah, well, he had Sean White next to him too, who was a pretty dang good player, but Easy was solid for sure.
But you know, where I'm getting with this is that, you know, since he's been your assistant, him and I had gotten to be, you know, we would talk about really. He had asked me, well, what do you think is going to happen in the game? And it was pretty funny. I would always come up and give him my, you know, because I wouldn't lie to him. I said, look, you know, I think you're going to win this game. And I remember one time he goes, well, why? And I said, because y'all shoot better free throws. I think it's really going to come down to the free throws. I think the talent. I think you guys are going to, you know, whatever, but it's going to come down to the free throws. And sure enough, you win a little free throw shot or whatever. It's just little things like this, and that, especially that first year you won the state championship. Him and I got really close. We were talking, you know, 5, 6, 7 minutes before the game, and I just said, well, you know what, you got it figured out. And then when I didn't talk to him, I said, you know what, just go win the game.
I don't know what I would do if Easy hadn't been there. It became such a normal thing having him right next to me, and to start every single game for the, you know, 15 to 17 years he's been sitting right next to me. I'd come sit down, and right before the tip-off, I'd kind of reach over, pat him on the leg, and ask him, hey, are we ready tonight? And he always, you know, he was, hey, coach, we got this, or hey, coach, you know, he's just that calming influence. Coach, we'll be all right, or yeah, they weren't ready, but we'll get them there. You know, he always had the right thing to say, and you know, I wish him the very best moving forward.
Well, Joe, let's go to a little break and come back and talk about the future.
All right.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We've got Joe Coleman, retired Joe Coleman. And Joe, going into this season, I mean, you've probably been asked this question, and I mean, did you think that this was the time, or was it after the state championship, or was it COVID, or was there a number of things that going through to make that decision?
I wish I could tell you exactly what it was. There was 4 or 5 things that weighed into it. You know, some personal, some just life. You know, that we're all dealing with nowadays. And I think I kind of was testing the waters towards the end of the summer. I was thinking, okay, well, maybe this is the right time. Did some paperwork, and the next thing I know, I'm getting letters saying, okay, you're retired August 31st. And I was like, whoa, you know, I didn't realize it was going that fast. But
so you had reservations?
Yeah, I was kind of going back and forth, like, I don't know.
What, am I really that old?
Yeah, am I ready for this? And then I thought, you know what, I am. When it came kind of final, when I started getting paperwork saying, yeah, you kind of there, I realized, okay, maybe this is the right time. But we'll see. I really think coaching-wise, I'm okay with that part of it being done. I think I'd love to go back.
Well, it's a lot easier when there's no sports going on.
Right.
I mean, it'd be a little bit different if
there was games getting started.
Started. It'd be a little bit.
The start of the season would be coming up this Monday.
From that standpoint, it's a great timing because you wouldn't be coaching really that much. You'd be really frustrated right now, like a lot of people.
Yeah, Monday would be the first start of practice coming up. So yeah, it's a little different, but I'm ready, and I'd love to come back and get back into the school somehow. I know it'll be difficult, but I'd love to be involved in athletics at Valley High School somehow, some way. Don't know if that'll work out or not, but would love to still be there. I love the coaches over there, the community, the school. Love being around those kids. But we'll see. I mean, in a year from now, who knows? So I'm just going to take it day by day, and I've been playing a lot of golf, and now that it's snowing, I'll have to figure out something to do indoors, but we're all right.
Well, I'm glad the snow day didn't bother your golf game. I mean, 'cause that gets pretty ritual too. I mean, but that goes so far too, you know.
Yeah. No, we've playing a lot of golf. Me and Sean Schreier, the coach of West Mesa, we've probably played 70, 80 rounds, but since this COVID thing's happened, and the snow day would be a big deal. Most normally, I just got done telling you a little bit, but we have a group of high school coaches that every time it was a snow day, we weren't allowed to practice, so we'd get together and pack up our kids because our wives would go off to work or whatever the case may be, and we'd get the kids and go meet at Peter Piper Pizza or Pistol Pete's or the bowling alley, and we'd let the kids just go, and we'd hang out for the entire day, and it became a tradition that's carried on now for almost 15 years, I bet, or more. So it's been great.
No, you look at Valley, and watching the success of your coaching career and everything, but it seemed like Valley fit you. Like Frank Castillo, LaQueva fit him. Right. Okay, I mean, it just seemed like. Judge being at Valley, it seems to be his personality in the administration, and people that haven't had success, it didn't seem like they fit in with that administration or with that school, but they were still great coaches.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that do a great job, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Like Roy Sanchez at El Dorado. You mean he's like
he's perfect right there. Yeah, absolutely. Adrian Ortega, who's now to Tristan,
took him a while,
and I think he's one of our brighter, younger, sharper coaches. That
he might be one.
Yeah, and he does a phenomenal job. And he's at Atrisco now, where things are rolling for him and his school and community. And he's a part of that. You know, Sean Schreier, West Mesa, Ray Rodriguez, you know, at Highland, when he was at Highland, he fit, you know, Highland stuff. Doing a good job at Siebel, but I've been very, very fortunate. I went to school in the North Valley. I grew up there. I'm sure not everyone feels so happy that I was there, but for the most part, that community, super supportive. Everywhere we went, the store, wherever you went, to another game, to a volleyball game, soccer game, people there were so excited about our program and made me feel comfortable, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of that. How much I added to it, I don't know, but it was nice.
I tell you, Sadie's, you talk about, you know,
absolutely,
Valley,
right?
And you talk about after a game, and, you know, they had Proview networks, you know, showing the games, and people would come in and they'd be, they would be there. Yeah, after you won the state championship, you just fill the place.
Well, it is North Valley. It's, you know, Sadie's, Brian Stafford, the owner, Brian, we graduated together at Valley High School. Brian and I graduated. He played football when I played football, and you know, we graduated together. He's a good friend of mine, super good friend, and you know, his grandma was Sadie, and he runs Sadie's now. And his two boys grew up with my boys, and I know them very well, so that's great. And then you got Rebel now started with Freddie over there, and Chavez, and you know, he's a Valley grad. And you know, so one year, you know, one night we were at Sadie's, and next time we were at Rebel, and you know, both Valley graduates, people who have been super successful in this community, who welcomed our community in to celebrate and be a part of it. That's why it was so special. That's why. That's one of the things I will miss most is being a part of those type of evenings and nights and support. But hopefully, you know, I'm sure Easy's going to have his success, and you know, maybe he'll invite me to come over and have a drink with them when they win some games.
Well, you know, you know, he's been, as you say, you know, a lot of times, and you'll say this, you're really as good as your assistants a lot of times. I mean, and you already touched on it, that you guys were just unbelievable team. I mean, it was, you know, whatever your strengths were, his weaknesses might have been there, but wherever his strengths were might be your weaknesses. So.
Yeah, he's an X and O guy, and he's great with the kids. He just knew how to handle those guys. He's quiet, doesn't say a lot.
He really doesn't.
He doesn't say a lot. When he does say something, it's, you know, those kids listen, because he isn't the guy who's constantly on them. He's, you know, when he's got something to say, he's got those kids listen to him, and I'm super excited for him. Noah Trujillo, Mario Chavez, Anthony Chavez. I mean, I wanted to throw those names out there because they were all a huge part of what we did over there.
Well, Joe, again, congratulations on back-to-back state champions. Great run, and I hope that run's still not over. So you got you still got a lot of running left. Okay,
I appreciate it. Yeah.
So I just want to thank you for your support with Proview Networks, and good luck to you in whatever endeavors you take on.
You got it, Steve. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet.
All right.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.